Hey everyone, welcome to the Amplify Digest. I'm your host, Lars Schmidt, breaking down some of the top news and trends and all things people in 5 minutes or less. So let's dig right in. You may have caught a Twitter thread from Kraken CEO Jesse Powell last week. It was a preemptive thread to try to get ahead of this New York Times article that he knew was coming with some critical look at their culture and aspects of how they are approaching diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so we tried to get ahead of that with a Twitter thread that really probably served his purpose. But I think for anyone looking at how not to approach diversity, equity, inclusion, this is a pretty great masterclass for you. It's on the heels of Coinbase's announcement last year to be apolitical. Kraken, another company in the crypto space, took things even a step further and gave some specific examples and scenarios and words questioning whether everybody can use them or not. So a lot of cringe factor in this thread, but definitely worth your time to read because this is the reality that some companies are in. And, as we build a new world of work, there are some companies that will be firmly committed to that model of working and others, taking a very different approach. This is a great piece from Brian Egan's newsletter. It was a summary of a report from BCG around some of the new trends of work that we are seeing. And so this is definitely one. I would subscribe to his newsletter. He always has a lot of great content there. But also definitely check out this report. There's some data here that might be helpful for you as you're kind of building your own new world of work plans within your organization. I had a chance to sit down with Charter last week to talk about kind of the intersection of the new world of work plans and this potential economic downturn and perhaps recession that we are in or maybe entering. Signs are there. I think, some organizations and places have made statements that we are in a recession, others that we're not quite there yet. We'll see how long and how deep this goes, but it was an interesting conversation, really kind of talking about some of the progress that we've made over the last 2 years around building a new world of work agenda and how some of these conditions, economic conditions, may impede, slow, or impact that progress. Hat tip to Oyster. They've been tremendous around sharing some of their open source resources, and here's yet another coming out of Oyster. So it is a open source kind of employee guide and handbook that they've built on Notion and shared publicly for all of you. So again, I love companies that build in public like this. Huge admiration for open source practices, and I think it's just smart practice as well. It allows candidates and prospects to get a better sense of like all of the aspects of what it's like working at Oyster, benefits, etc., before having to get an offer to hear those details. So again, I think especially in this market and frankly in all markets, the more you can front load that content higher in the funnel and allow candidates to make more informed decisions about how that opportunity aligns or doesn't with their needs, the better positioned you're going to be from a recruiting perspective. And lastly, I want to share this thread from Credit Karma Chief People Officer Colleen McCreary. Colleen, I'm a huge fan of her work, her approach, and her voice in the field. And she had a really thoughtful post around how companies should be thinking about layoffs, from reductions to rescinding offers and why you shouldn't do that, and much more. So definitely check out this thread. I know many organizations are kind of in this position where they're looking at headcount right now. If you are needing to go through reductions, there's definitely right and wrong ways to do those. And I think Colleen has some really great feedback in this thread and food for thought for all of you that are facing those decisions in your company. So that's a wrap for this week. We'll be back next week with another update on the top news. And in the meantime, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I will see you next week.